welcome once again to my channel, Mark Battles. And you will note that I have not been posting videos for I think almost a month now. Yeah, I did have some problem, and as well as I got stricken by the coronavirus last 2 weeks. Those are some of the issues that I have faced personally in my life. Time was an issue for me. I didn't have much time to do videos, editing, and loading. So those are the main reasons why I didn't upload videos in the past month or two. Well, this morning I am going to present to you videos presentation about the construction of my block. During the course of the presentation of those, I will also do some explanation. Unfortunately, there is no video because at the time when I moved in and started to construct my block, for some reason I didn't get any videos. I was only taking still pictures. Mid 2011, end of 2011, when I moved in. So that's about some 10 years ago. I don't know why I ever got any videos of my block construction at the time. I think firstly I never thought I would be doing anything like this, to upload videos and show whatever that I'm doing to public for their public consumption, for their knowledge, information, and learning as well. I never thought anything like that. I thought my life was my personal life, and it doesn't have to be known by anybody. And I think that's the main reason why I never did anything, so to video my blog development at the time, because I didn't see fit that anybody would want to see it, or for me to, with interest, to show to others. So I was only taking the still pictures. So I'm going to walk you through the still pictures and explain as I go through. Yeah, you can hear cocks crowing. This is early morning. Where I am now recording on the veranda, at my house. Yeah. So I'm recording this on the veranda of my house, and you can see at the back, that's the more or less southwest. That's southwest side of where my block is, and the east, towards the east, you will see that's the east. Okay, so that's where the sun is going to come up from. So you can see now, I think on the camera it's getting a little bit too bright, but the sun will be coming up from there. Yeah, so in background you can hear the chickens flying down from their sleeping place on the branches of the trees. On the veranda, and on that side, those are some houses there. These are bushes, the trees, environment, So like if you see on the eastern side of my house, you can see those are trees, rosewood tree, berries, blackberries, and then I have my coconut tree there, and one on that side, bananas. And this one standing right in front of the camera is the Syzygium tree. Then you will see, if I can point you down, see down there. These are my ducks, and that's my poultry house. I'll be working on that today. This is the veranda of my house. Everybody's still sleeping. It's still early morning. Block development that I've been working on. So this is the block I'm talking about. So you can see now on the veranda, the house. So I think in the daytime I'll probably now show you roughly, but that's the next stage. So I have stage one. Stage one is when I first came and started to on my block development, the digging, the cleaning, and eventually the construction. First component of the first house, I think 5 by 5 meters by 5 meters, which I was constructing. And it's the same house that I've been extending for over this mid or end of 2011 to today, first quarter of 2021. It's 10 years, and so I've been working on this house block, building and developing for over 10 years. We'll walk you through in those stages from the first 5 meter by 5 meter house construction onto the extensions, a couple of extensions. I think I did 2 extensions, eventually now to date. So where I am staying now, the veranda that I am now recording on is part of what I call the 3rd extension. The 2nd extension was the other house, which we have now moved away from that and now into this 3rd extended building. And I have now put up the 2nd extension. There's rooms for rent. All right, so that's just a brief outline of my video presentation. So today I'm going to present to you what I call the first phase or first part of the block, my block development construction. Because like I said, I have no video to show you. I will show you slides, picture slides, and I will explain as I go on. Before that, let me show you once again the eastern part of the place where I am staying. And you can see now it's getting brighter. Sun is now about to rise, about 6 in the morning. And so now it's getting brighter and brighter there. So the sun is just about to show itself. I think by around between 7, half 7, I think the sun should be up. Okay, so now I'm going to now focus the camera to my screen so that I can show you the pictures or the slide. All right, so you can see right on camera. Unfortunately, I didn't have a clear pictures of when I first came and while this block was either in the bush or in the grasses or overgrown with grasses, and as well as I was not able to capture my initial sets for the block and the arrangement when I came talking to people. I tell you, there's another thing that I would have captured those because there was an issue. I can note now my background is getting brighter and brighter, and I think it's going to the light shining into the camera is now going to be a little bit too bright. But yeah, the reason why, maybe I will have to start with that. The reason why I moved into this block where I am now, way back in 2011, was due to the rising rental rates within the city building, city accommodation and houses. At the time, under my employment, my rental rate per week was about 425 kina, and unfortunately the housing rates, rental rates at the time, it has increased. It has rose now to, for a decent house or rooms, it has risen to about 600 to 700, 650 to 700 per week, kina per week. So it became an issue for me. I couldn't afford because my employer was only able to pay 425 kina per week, and if my rental rate was 650, then I would be expected to fork that out from my salary on a weekly basis of about 200 kina, and in a fortnight that would be 400. And to with that amount, that's already a huge call on my part financially. And if I am going to continue to pay out of my pocket on a fortnightly basis of 400 kina. That's already too much a blow for me, which will cause a lot of financial gaps, financial hindrances to me and my family. So that's the reason why I had to move and come and find a place, like this. For the house, I was sleeping because I was already moved out of the house where I was staying. So I was more or less sleeping outside somebody's house. I sleep in the vehicle. I had my family sleep in the house with their small spacing, so they were just crawling around. And for me and my wife, my vehicle became our house. So I had to, at the end of the day when I drive home, I drive into the yard, the fence, and lock especially in the nights, I lock the gate. And then I open the trailer of my vehicle, put my mat and my mattress, my pillow, and I'm sleeping. Fortunately, it was fine weather all those times, so it never rained. But if it did rain, I would have put a canvas over the trailer of the vehicle, and that will still be my house. So that was where I was sleeping for about a month, because to search for the house, it took a long time, and especially for a decent house, in order to accord to give sort of a better housing to the family. I had to search and find a better house, and to find better house is not easy, because the better houses comes up with a cost. So the better the house is, the more cost it is to pay, on a rental basis. And I couldn't afford to go beyond certain limits, certain points, and that causes me to search, for houses. Some good ones I found, but then the rates were too high for me, and I couldn't afford. And some which the rates were affordable for me, it wasn't a better housing. My family wouldn't like it. There's not enough space, and the rooms are too small, or not enough rooms, and so it's going to be a lot of inconvenience to my family as well. So yeah, and to search for a house, within the short period, especially when I'm sleeping outside of somebody's house in the yard, and as well as my family crowding around with the family inside the house, it exerted a lot of pressure. Although they were friends, they were one talks, but as time goes by, the longer you stay with people, the more difficulties you will face, and then disagreements and fighting for space and comfort, and all those ones will create all those animosities and hatreds and anger as well, and then eventually will cause some family issues. Yeah, so I was under pressure to find a house. I did found a house. I went there, but then that owner of that house also sold the house, and so I had to continue to search. And boy, I've been searching. I tell you, you can really cry if you under a lot of pressure, especially if you have a bigger family and a small family in terms of age. They demand a lot of time and even better spacing and all those, and so it makes it more difficult. At the end of my sets, at the end of the day, I come home and my wife is firing here and there, because we now do not have privacy. We are sharing house with somebody, or we are sharing somebody's house, and so it's very difficult. The place to cook, the place to serve food to eat, and then the place to now sit down and tell stories and relax, and for kids especially to do their studies. I tell you, it comes with a host of other uh, you know, it's not good. It's not good, and that's why I think with that, preparation, well ahead in advanced preparation, is very, very vital, very, very important. And that's another thing that I'm going to talk about in my next, in one of my channels, which is about personal development, success, and prosperity. And that will include financial management and savings and those other things. Yeah, so that's the difficulty that I have to go through. Well, eventually I came to this place and I found this block, and then that's when I started to do the construction. So that's basically what got me to come out now to look for a block on the outskirts of Port Moresby, and the block I found is this block that now I'm going to show you the slides of the development of that block. By the way, and sun, it's now, it's half past 6, half 6 now, a.m. in the morning, and the sun is already up. You can see the sun is just about to shine out of that those trees, out of those tree tops. All right, so you can see ahead on the camera is that the block. So and then we did the clearing. After the clearance, it took us I think about a month or two, because we only had weekends to come and work on the block. The weekdays I'm working, the kids are schooling, and then we come over the weekend on Friday and work on the block, clean the block, and then eventually we build a makeshift. You will see in the screen. So that's so after we've done and this shot was taken, I think about some 3 months after that. You can see the fence was already done, so that means it's some sort of 3-4 months work already. So that's the block. So you can see here, this is the waste materials that we have dug from the top there. This is all clay, and we've now heaped all these ones down here, and actually we were going to build the house on top there. And in the next slide you will see the pickets, the post pickets that we have stood, where we were going to put the post and build the house. Unfortunately, I didn't build the house here. I built it on the other corner, and I will show you. Okay, so this was some time already, and then we have now worked on putting the fence, and this fence is made of timber. This is a thick tree slabs that I have got from the sawmill, and put a post and the noggins, and then nail those ones, and then cut the top off, and it looks very good. At the time it was brand new. At the time, looks very good. Yeah. Okay. Then now let's move on to the next slide. Okay. Then that's the this slide is now from the top of the block, where my gate is, the entrance is, and you can see pickets here. See all these 3 rows, and then we have how many lines of posts? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There were 5 posts. So it was going to be 3 rows of 5 lines of posts, and that was supposed to be the house. So that's at the top. You can see at the back there that when I moved in at the time, this area was all bare and vacant. Today, these are all filled with houses. There's so many houses all here, even on the other sides. So that's so we've dug this the soil material from here and heap it at the bottom, where you saw those heaps of soil in the first slide, and so this is where we were going to build a house. Okay, so that's when I said the top of the block and where the gate is. This is the gate actually. So the second slide the shot was taken from while I was up there. Okay, so you can see now closer look of the pickets there for the post, and you can see the wall, the soil been dug, and that's the wall that was left there. So the entrance is actually here. So this is the end of the fence, and then on the other side is somewhere down there. And it's that's like I said, after I think six months or so. So we have built this makeshift, and this is where we come and store all our working tools, our gears, and when we come on the weekends, like we come on Friday, sometimes we come and sleep here. So inside there, we keep our sleeping gears. We come and sleep inside there. This is the veranda. We come and sleep, and then we do the works around the block. And then we stay Saturday, Sunday afternoon. We go back to our townhouse, rental house, and then now ready for Monday school and work. Yeah, so in here, in this makeshift that we have, we have a kitchen there, a small sleeping area that we've created. So the kitchen, which we have the oven inside, and the laundry area, and to do the dish wash ups, we do it outside. So you can see, like that's a water container there, 200 liter. We bring our water from town and come and put them here. So we get the water, our drinking water, cooking water, and our washing. At the time, our kids were. We had four kids. The fifth, the bigger one, was staying away and she couldn't. But we had four children, and the fourth one was a small boy at the time when we were working on this block here. And now we have the sixth child, and actually the sixth child was born in this block after we built the house. But the house, it was just the first part of the house, 5 by 5, and in that we had our sixth child, and that was our last, and it's our last today. Okay, so that's the makeshift house that we have had at the time. Okay, so that's the same house, and now the shot is from the top, so you can now more or less see inside the house. In here, we have not put the wall. We just put the wire frames there, just to block intruders, if there are any, from going into the house. But it's open, so we have the fresh air flowing in, right into the house. Our sleeping area. This is our sleeping area here. We cook, we bring the food out, we eat on this veranda, and we tell stories there. And when the night falls, we go in and we sleep. Even we sleep also outside here on the veranda. By the way, okay, so I can now show you from here. But if I go back, you can see, you see this white PVC pipe. It must be, I think, 40 or 60 mils. Okay, that's my septic tank. So that's the air escape vault that I put there. Okay, so now if I go on to the next slide. Okay, so this is the drain that runs down here. So you can see this one here. It's not covered properly. You can see that's white there. That's the PVC pipe, 100 mils. Our toilet. The pipe that's come from the toilet pot to the septic tank. It's below. So that the white PVC pipe that you see standing at the back of this house to the earlier in the earlier slide is just somewhere down here. Because we lived in the city for quite a long time, and we got used to using a better toilet facility. In the case of toilet pot with septic tank, using water, and we've got used to that already. So we decided also to do, although this is a makeshift, there's no water here, but we still did that better modern toilet, so that it makes it easy for us. When we are toileting, you go in there, sit down on the toilet pot, and you relax, and you throw away your waste. We have to, as a family, we have to struggle to find water. to provide water for our toilet, less for shower, and for cooking and dishwashing. The difficulties we encountered right from the start. Even I didn't tell you when I was looking for this block, and as well as after I found the block, the road. Unfortunately, I don't have any slides of the road. The road that all the way from the start at the entrance, all the way coming through to this block. If I had shown you, you will see, how narrow that road is and how bushy the road is. It was a trek. It was a trek when I came in. So fortunately, I had a four-wheel drive vehicle because there was a creek that and it's still there today that we have to cross. And that creek, when it rains, it floods. At the time when we came in, the creek was full of these black big stones. The typical stones that are found in the rivers, and they are quite slippery as well. Yeah, but we had to come and just run over it and put on the foil and then come and then struggle to come up this dirt road all the way to the block, and we come in, and that's the entrance there. On top there, that's the gate. So that's the drive-in area. All right. So I showed you earlier on as I sit here on the veranda and the eastern side of the part of the area from my block. This is the one here. This is the eastern side of the area. Okay, as I sit on this veranda now, the eastern side is still here, and this is the area that you will still see. If I change the camera and show you, the sun has now risen. The sun is rising out of this area here, and this tree here and this tree here, they are the trees that you will see now. The sun is just coming through these trees here, and it's just about to shine out. So I'll just have to turn this camera around so that you can see, and you will note that these trees are still there, but they have grown big. And this space now is more or less covered. This tree has gone up a bit, and this one, I think this one is a mango. It's at the top. It's at the top of the space that I'm going to show you. All right, so maybe let me just turn the camera and face that I was talking about. Okay, that tree that was there is this one here, and there's another tree at the back. You can't really see. It's because of the brightness of the sun coming up, but actually there is a tree here, and that sun rays coming through. It's coming through the tree. The tree branch is still at the top, and it just shining. The sun is shining through the tree. It is yet to the top of the branch. So the top of the tree is still above. You can see now the sun more or less rays has a little bit disappeared. So it's now the tree is blocking it, coming up above the tree. Yeah, it's too bright. Too bright. I don't know. I cannot look at it. Look at the sun. Directly. It's burning my eye. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so actually all these areas now are filled with houses. You can see, like I explained in one of the slides, there were no houses. Now there are a lot of houses there. This area now is filled with people. The population is now really big. Okay, so that's the veranda of that makeshift house. This is one of those weekends we came. We're working, and I think this was, I don't know whether it's lunch or it's a breakfast. We may have come, it looks like it's morning yet. So we must have come a little bit early, and we didn't have breakfast at our house, so we came with our friends here. There were some boys that were helping us cleaning the place, and so we came and got them together, and we had our breakfast. Okay, so that's the same place. This is my big brother. He was staying at home at the time, and he came into Port Moresby to see his daughter, who was married, and the husband was working here, so came to see her, visit the family, the daughter and the husband. And so he came to join me to come and work on my block, and that's a closer sort of him. He used to be in the army before here in Port Moresby, so he served his time as an army officer. I don't know for how long, and then he retired from there, and then went home, and he went and joined Radio Mumbai in Aratau as a radio announcer. By the way, his name is Joseph Betuel, and so he was the announcer at the Radio Mumbai, and then from there he was in as well, and then went and stood for election, became the politician for the provincial assembly in the Mumbai provincial government. That's him, and that's the vehicle that I was using. That is a Toyota Land Cruiser Hilux, double cab, and that's the block after it was grown over with some grass, sometime after that, and the kids that's going cutting grass, and you can see somebody sitting there at the back. I think that must be Melda. I have that's my smaller sunny boy at the time, Maxon's Junior Betuels, my namesake, and so he's also cutting grass, unfortunately with a big bush knife. And, there they are resting after working, and that's on top of that makeshift building that we've done. So I was on top there with my sunny boy. There it is again. That's the drive-in now. You can see that's the other side of the fence, and the other side is there. So this is the drive-in, the gate. Okay, so this is the sand, Dogora Creek, to dig up those this sand that were on the side of the creek, sandbank. So we dug this one. So that's for our material for mixing cement, and also to throw on top of the muddy places that we have. And the sun has now come up. Probably I'll just force this one and turn that around, and it's now directly shining onto it has just now risen above the tree that I was talking about, but I can't really see. It's burning my eye too. But the sun has now gone above the tree, the top of the tree now, so it's now full now. It's getting full and shining right into my veranda here. And if I take you all the way back to the back of my veranda and my house, yes, that's just to show how it is like. Again, so that's the cocks are crowing. Chickens are still crowing at the back. Okay, so that's it. Yes, so that's and I was talking about the water. This is a water container, and that's you can see at the back there that you can see the stacks of timber and covered with canvas. Those are the timbers that I have now bring in to start to build my house. You can see our two dogs there. Okay, now that's this is a shot taken from the top where the gate is. So I think this must be when in the morning when we came from our townhouse. Container of water in the back that's filled with water. That's 200-liter drum. So as we move, we bring our water here, and then we transfer it into, there is a container of a makeshift house. So we transfer the water there, and then it goes to that. It's raised a little bit higher, so it runs freely, by gravity. The cistern, and then as well as the water that goes to, for shower, and as well as that's my duck, making the noise underneath. Ducks and the drakes. Yeah, so you can see we still have the specs here, and we didn't build a house. Okay, so you can see that's the ventilation pipe for the toilet septic tank. Yeah, so that's the one underneath and below there. Okay, now you will note in the slide as we come, you will see the house now. Okay, so instead of building the house on top here, I started to build the house from this end here. And so this is where my house is. So this whole area, all the way from this end, the fence is just around here, all the way from this end, all the way this side here. Okay, so the veranda where I sit on is actually just around here, but on the other side, below. This is the top one. The veranda that I'm now sitting on is below there. And this is the top. The first house will be here. And then the extension comes here, the first extension all the way here, and that's the other top house. And then the second extension is at the back. Okay, now let's move on. By the way, so you can see this is the same area that I was talking about. That's the pastor's house on top there. The church is on the hilltop there. All these areas here, at the time there was only one house. Now we have another house somewhere here, and then a couple of houses here. As well as on this side here, there's one house on top somewhere here. There's one house on this side here, and another one on this side here. This area is now filled with houses. Okay, now I think what I wanted to show was to show you the difference and the location of the house. That's the 5x5 house that I built. I was talking about, and this is still the makeshift house here. I think the reason why I got this slide up front is to show you now. This is the makeshift house, and this is the house that I built, the 5x5 house. Okay, if I get you back, okay, so now you will see our makeshift house is still here, and that 5x5 house, which is the start of our permanent house, is built on this side here. Okay, so we will do the extension coming this way. Okay, so that's the reason why this slide is up front, just to show you. And this is the water tanks. This is actually the septic tank. In the meantime, because I was using the temporary septic tank, I decided to use this one as my water tank because I do need water. We need water for the toilet, as well as for shower and laundry and the kitchen. And so we needed more tanks. So this is 5,000 liters, and this is the septic tank is I think 4,000 liters. So I have a total of some 9,000 liters. And at the time I was taking water from the rainwater. So you can see the gutter coming from the house. Okay, now let's go. I think in this next slide you will see the construction of this house here. Okay, you can see on the screen. I hope clear. I know it may not be very clear, but you can see that is now the construction of that 5x5 block house, which was fitted at the end of that makeshift house, as shown in the last slide. Okay, so that's the building now. After we put up everything, the post, and then now we put in the studs up. And that's the house at the back there. You can see the step was already done, and we're now working on the putting the decking posts and the palings. Unfortunately, it's not very clear from this end, and I don't think we had any clear pictures of that. Even at the start of building that house, the measurement and pegging of the post, and then the digging and the planting of the post and all those. But anyway, so this is all I have, and my sunny boy there, my wife with another child, and then in a corner of that house. Okay, so that's the same picture that I think I showed you already earlier. It's the same one. So that's after the house was completed. We put the roof, and then actually a couple of months after we completed, because then we did the extension on the veranda here, and we used the Segoto roof to put the extension, because the house was small, and inside the house you will see later, not a very big space, just 2 bedrooms and a little corridor to walk in and out. So we have to do this veranda so that you can come and sit down here, and it's a living room. And the makeshift is here. You see, we still had a lot of tanks, 200-liter drums, for getting water. So that's a closer shot of that house. So this is in between here. So we did the steps in between here. So we get in here, go around, and go to the makeshift house. That's where our kitchen and shower is. And I've done the bottom one. I actually cemented the bottom and then made the bottom. So the bottom was converted to kitchen, shower, toilet. And then after, when that was done, we dismantled this makeshift house. Okay, so that's from the back shot of that same building. You can see this post here. This is a temporary post. Because I ran out of the proper posts at that time, so just put this thick post there. And this is 4x4 here. So the posts I used were 4x4, not very big posts. I did change over time, when I was extending this building. First extension was done this way, joining together to this building here and up this side. And then the second extension was now coming down this way. And the third extension is actually the one that I'm sitting on now, which is further down this way. Okay, so if I can just tell you roughly the extensions that I've done. First extension was extending this part of this house here, which comes around to this side here. So another 5 meter now makes it about total of 10 meter by 5 meter in width. So that's the first extension. The second extension was up to here, somewhere here, up to here and all the way there. So it was alongside this one here. And then the third extension was just along that side, all the way down to here. So that's working on that bottom of that house. I said the posts were done with 4x4 posts, and this is the temporary one that I was talking about, the thick post. And I started to cement the bottom ground, which houses the kitchen, shower, toilet, and living room as well. Okay, so that's the same part of it. Yeah. Okay, so that's getting it from the other angle. This is the makeshift house still there, and this is the first house, the 5x5 house. Yeah. Now we have all this pawpaw growing from that the waste that we've dug from the top here. So this is the top here. This is the actual place where we were going to build a house, but we didn't build a house. So instead we started building here, and I think we did the right thing also, so that we can leave this area. This area has now become the parking area, as well as storage of some things. Yeah, so you will see all this area now has been all built. Okay, so this is the septic construction. So we dug into the soil and we hit this limestone here. It was solid, so it was okay. But despite that, my fear that the side walls may collapse through erosion after it's been wet. I also stonewall the inside of this the septic pit. Yeah, so I still walled this one here, although this limestone is strong enough. If I didn't wall it, it should still be okay. But just the fear that it might collapse, So that's and this funny story about this the construction during the time when I was digging this toilet pit. The sun was really hot. Myself and my friend there we were working, and I tell you, without any shirt, the sun has really hit on my back, and I felt sick. So after working for some time, I thought I had malaria. So I had my body was really hot, and I had these veins on my head, and so I went to that makeshift house. I went and lay down there, and I told the family, oh, I'm sick now with malaria, and that's the worst thing and the last thing that I ever thought, I should have, because I have to complete this. I was under pressure at the time. By the time when we were doing this, finalizing this house, the second house that we moved into, and the rent was now been sold, and we were given like 2 weeks. First, we were given 1 month. I asked for a month. They gave us 1 month, and then that month was, the time was drawing down. And eventually, we came to 2 weeks left, and the new tenant, new owner has already purchased the house, so he has all the right now to move in. So he issued a eviction notice to me for my family, and I had to move out. And so at the same time, I was working on my 5x5 house at the block. And then now you see, like I showed you, I was working on that pit toilet, and I got this sick. And I thought I was really sick. And I thought that, to have malaria, I know malaria. It has been my sick for some time, and I know it very, very well. When it gets me, I tell you, I'm down. I'm down, meaning it's going to be around more than a week, some 2 weeks at least before I can recover and recover fully. I knew that 2 weeks will be a setback for me. It's going to draw me back, and I'm going to have so much pressure. There's no more reason I can now give to the new tenant, and as well. Besides that, the house that I built was not fully completed yet at the block. And if I move my family there without the proper toilet and shower and all those, I tell you, what the process is going to be like coming from the family, and especially from wives. I mean, I have one wife, but I mean wives. Every one of us put together. We all know how much pressure they give us, these so-called wives here. So I have to work really hard, and I thought I was sick. So when I went, I lay down. After some time, they sent me food. They told me to get up and eat, and I got up and I ate rice and I drank hot coffee. And then after some time, I could feel that I was regaining my strength, and that what appears to be the malaria sick disappeared. And I realized it was not malaria. It was not a sick. It was hunger. Oh, so I starved myself in work. It was really funny as well. When I realized that it wasn't really malaria, I was so excited. I was so happy. So I went back to work. After I regained all my strength, after having my lunch, I went back and I started working again. And I was so excited, so happy that it wasn't a sick. It was just hunger. So then, but then I told the family, I said, next time when I'm working, especially under current pressure, I said, when I'm working, please don't forget about me. Always keep an eye on me, and cook food, make tea, and give it to me. I'll eat it because when I work, when I'm so busy and I'm working, I don't worry about food. I just forget about food. I just wanted to complete whatever that I'm doing, and especially when I'm under pressure or under some targeted time frame. Yeah, but that's the story. Yeah, so that's the story about this digging of this toilet pit. Okay, we're going to the next slide. Yeah, so that's my friend there. And there he says, I dig. He shovels or spades the waste soil from the bottom and threw them out. Because by then we've already gone like almost 2 meters, more than 1.5 meters. So it was quite a distance now to dig it and to throw the waste up, onto the top. Yeah, okay, so that's digging the toilet pit of the work that we were doing. This was what I think we must have loaded. I don't know whether it's cement or we went and got I think it must be the soil that we went and got. They are all bagged in that empty cement bags. And this was this Toyota Land Cruiser. So I was fortunate to have such vehicles at my disposal at the time, so I could use it to help me. I tell you, the road was no good, so we need four-wheel drive and etc. Okay, so that's the same. Okay, so that's inside that house. That's we haven't completed, and like I said earlier, because of the pressure that I was getting from the new tenant who bought the house that I was renting at the time, so we were more or less chased out, and then so I was working on this to complete this internal walling. At the same time, I was working on the septic tank. Everything all going on at the same time, the agency to complete all those ones. So, but we moved. We came to this house here. It was not completed yet. We only did the floor and the walling and the roof, all those ones up, and then we moved. So we came. So that's where we were sleeping. It was 2 bedrooms. So you can see this is 1 bedroom here, and the other bedroom on the other side. And that's the little corridor there. You see our stuff. We have too many things. So we just stockpile our things there, and a little bit of space we created for the girls, for my children to sleep. Girls I think here, and the boys sleeping on this little corridor, and me and my wife we sleep here. Okay, so let's go to the next slide, and that's part of that building inside the two bedroom house, 5 by 5. That's my daughter. Okay, now let's move. That's in between the makeshift house and that 5 by 5 house. Okay, so that's Mrs. now. I don't know what she's doing. She put on this.
Cutting the louvers.
Oh, cutting the louvers. Okay, we were doing the louvers. The louver, yeah, that time I didn't know, I just went and bought the louvers, and we did the louver, the window. We just did it without knowing the actual standard measurement of the louver blades. So I did come up with my own measurement, and then when I went and got the louver blades, I think you need to see me. So I did the windows, my style. This was actually my first house that I've constructed, the modern house. I did construct a traditional house while I was at home, and that doesn't need any louver blades. So you create your own window, and you build your own window. You get the timbers and plywood, whatever, and then just make the window, and you cut them to fit the window size that you want. Unlike this modern house. When you are making the window, and especially if you are going to use the louver blades. If you are going to use the louver blades comes with a standard measurement. And so the measurement of the window is supposed to be the measurement of the standard louver blades. And that's funny. And that's the problem we had. I just made my own window measurement, and it didn't fit the standard louver blade measurement. And so when we went and bought the window louver blades, when we came, we tried to fit them. It couldn't fit; they were too long, so we had to cut them. And so we were doing the cutting. Yes, because I've been wondering why this lady is putting on this safety glass. Okay, so now I understand. It was during the time when we were cutting the louver blades to fit the window, because I was so stupid to create my own window measurement without considering the standard size of the louver blades.
And now you're wondering why she's wearing that safety.
Yeah, and that got me wondering why she's wearing.
She's showing off or something.
I thought she's showing off. In fact, it was out of my stupidity that she's wearing
Safety.
Oh, no. Anyway, I learned a lot. You can laugh. I can see the reason why you can laugh. That's okay. You have the right to laugh as well. Please, but take it easy. I was under pressure doing all these things at the time, and she was one of the pressure as well. When the house was not complete, and the new owner who bought the house that we were renting was putting pressure on us. She put more pressure on me, and that got me further out of my sense. And and besides, I'm not a builder myself too. I have no trade, nothing, no experience in building. I have not even gone to school in the carpentry or whatever. And I just built this 5x5 house out of my head, and using my own measurements. I can really laugh now. Yeah, I can hear you laughing. Yeah. But anyway, have a good laugh. Now you learn that when you are doing your windows, and if you are using louvers, don't just do your your window measurements, out of the blue. You go and inquire with the hardware guys, and then they will tell you the standard louver blades measurement, and then you use that one to now measure and build your window, so that you can use. So there's no need. It takes out this additional work of cutting the louver blades, because it's not easy to you need experience also to cut it and to break it. And then if you do break longer pieces, and they have no use, then that's a waste of money as well, buying the piece and then not utilizing. So all those things will now come into play, and I was stupid. Yeah, truly I was stupid. Anyway, let's move on to the next slide. And that's my kids. That's on that veranda. This one veranda that we did using the sago leaves. So that's on that veranda, and that's my kids here. My sonny boy, Betuels Junior, and this is Gwenny Betuels, and that's Mark Betuels Senior there, dressed up in our block, this house here, and just ready now to jump onto the vehicle, and off we go. I drop them at the school, and I go to work. Yeah, so that has been our life at the block, and that's the same veranda. That's my little one,
My son Junior.
the radio there, and Mrs. sitting down there. And I think by then she was pregnant now already with our last born, the girl to be. Yeah, now let's move on. Okay, so this is my two kids here. This is one of their cousin. Then we have our boys there. That's the big boy there, Betuel. That's on the same veranda. It's a life that we were in, the block life. We try to enjoy ourselves. This is still that 5x5 house, and this is the extension veranda that we did using sago leaves as a roof. Yeah, so we just, and the boys sleep out here. That's Mrs. now on the same veranda. Yeah, and she's already pregnant now. And this watermelon. You remember I talked to you about the soil waste that we dug from the top where we were supposed to build the house originally, and all the waste material that we brought down and threw them, and we just threw these watermelon seeds there, and it grew, and we harvested this. Unfortunately, we don't have the picture of it when it was together with the vine. But yeah, this is homegrown from the block. By then, I've already completed the bottom of the house. and walled it already. So now that has been transformed into our kitchen, our dining room, toilet, shower, and even living room. So the top is just for sleeping. Our boys sleep at the bottom. Okay, so yeah, so that's the bed for the boys. The Mrs. there.
Belly, big belly.
Yeah, that's with the big belly, and now with that the watermelon makes it more big, and you can see her face. That's a pregnancy face, and that's me there too.
Big stomach too.
I'm trying to help my missus carry the baby again. Yeah, so that small last baby, because it's our last born, we were sharing that. So she was carrying that one, and then I said, "No, come, mommy, it's my turn to help you," and I carried the baby again. So there, so now the baby's on my stomach. Unfortunately, it's not inside my stomach; it's on my stomach. Anyway, let's move on. And while they're at our block now, we were still living in that 5x5 house. It was our 15th year of marriage, and so it was our anniversary cake, 15 years anniversary cake. We celebrated it there at the block, January 13th. All right, so that's there. Those are the couple. They have their baby, and they're now also celebrating their 15th year anniversary of marriage. And the cake there. Yeah, still looking young. And
Yeah, nice teeth.
there we are, still there.
Oh,
And
pizza.
that's the pizza.
Pizza.
I don't know whether this was the same time
Oh, well,
or
that's
it was
yes, pizza and
another.
cake.
I think it was the same time. So we had cake,
Pizza.
we had pizza, whatever you name it. We had it at this block, you know.
Even though we have that, what, 5x5.
This 5x5 meter house was giving us all this. Just after when we moved from those rental now, when we moved, I was no longer paying rent. So now my then my organization was paying me housing allowance. So now instead of paying the rent now, I have now saved that. I was saying here 450 kina weekly rental allowance. When I own my house now, the house I own was 5x5 meter house, and then did the bottom one as well. So yeah, so my organization was paying me my housing allowance, and then besides I saved 200 on a weekly base, and then fortnightly is 400. So I saved that 400 kina per fortnight, my own personal money, and then my organization was able to pay me my housing allowance, because now I own a 5x5 meter house. What a funny house, huh? To own a house as small as that. But anyway, you making me cry. Anyway, so we did had all those ones, I think because now we're beginning to have some money, small money. Now let's move on. Okay, so that's on the same veranda, and you can see the house. Those timbers there, stacks of timbers. That was in preparation for the extension of this 5x5 meter house. I was going to do the extension, and I think I did another. I don't know. It could be another 5 to 6 meter, making it become a total of about 10, 11 meters long and 5 meter wide. We will come to that later. Okay, so let's move on. The back of the house. Okay, this mango here, you will see a video that I will show you later. I don't know, maybe a couple of videos down the line. The title will be that the tree that grows in the house. Okay, you will now note that this mango eventually was in the house, and this area eventually the shower area, and the mango was inside the shower area. So the extension first extension, second extension, the third extension we did, the house came as far as this. I will show you from another angle so you can see how wide I have been extending. So the extension, the width the extension width that eventually I came up with now was I think about 15 meter, about some 15 meters wide, from the initial 5 meter by 5 meter. So that means I had the initial 5 meter, then I extended another 5 meter, and then I extended another 5 meter. So eventually it became 15 meter house width. The width of the final extension of the entire house now was 15 meter. And so that came and covered this one here, and that's when this mango tree was inside the house. And the reason why we didn't cut the mango tree at the time was because it was already big, you can see. It was big, and then by the time that the extension of the house came this way, the mango was already bearing fruit. And so we decided not to cut it because we were already eating of it. So we said, okay, no, we'll leave it. So what we did was we trimmed the branches, and we allowed the top branch to grow right up, and then we made a hole on the roof. So all these the branches of the mango that grew to the top was all outside of the roof. Only the trunk was inside the house. Yeah, so I will show you. Yeah, but otherwise, so that's the final extension that we did. You will note. So it's quite a long story. So the extensions are now broken into stages. The initial construction, which is the one that I'm still going through, and after that we will come to the first extension. I will also show you that, but not in the same video. That will be in the next video. So that's the next episode of the video. Extension number 1. That's the phase 2 of it. Okay, let's see if we can move on and see some more pictures. Oh, I think we have now come to the end of the first original construction of the house and the works on the block. And yeah, okay, so now we have this 5x5 house, which the bottom was also done. So we have the kitchen, the sink, the shower room underneath, and even the living room too was underneath. So we were quite satisfied by then. We were satisfied, we were happy, and as well I think the important thing was two things. Two main things that resulted from this move that we did. I've been doing this video since early morning, and I have to drink. I'm so hungry. You know the story I told you about. I was working on digging the pit, toilet pit, and I thought I was sick with malaria, but in fact I was hungry. Hunger strike. Please, I'm really thirsty here. By the way, I've now got my breakfast, rice vermicelli and bananas, my cup of coffee. So I think it's not good eating in front of you guys, so I'll have to just excuse myself first. Well, you know, some of the things I have learned. I mean, the road into moving out from the city and coming to the block and to build my 5x5 meter house at the time, the pressure that I went through was so enormous, you know, and it was very, very, you know, trying times at the time. Today looking back, after 10-11 years, I noted some things. You know, sometimes when I tell the story to my friends, I say it this way that I was lucky to move. What happened? I mean, where I am today in terms of well, nothing very much. I think basically now I have a place to stay. The only problem with this is that I still don't own the land, so the land is under the landlord. landowner with whom we have our community have made the arrangement, and I hope that that arrangement will still stand. I'm not too sure. So many things are happening. There's so many rumors and so forth. So we are not steady, and it's quite risky also. But I have a place now to stay, which I can call home now. It's a private place, home. And so that's one thing. So now I can relax, sit down, and relax rather than being pushed around by, if you are staying in the rental house, you are at the mercy of the landlord, the owner of the house. If he decides to sell the house, he sells the house, and then you have to move back in. And besides that, looking for house rental today is very, very hard because all of a sudden cost of living has risen so high, double, triple. So now the rates of the rental houses are now like double or three times than it was at that time when I was in the city. Yeah, so that ease of having to be put under pressure. That's that, and then besides that, I used to pay additional money out of my own pocket. That now I save, and because now I own a place, a home. So now my employee is now paying me housing allowance. So that's another additional fund for me as well. So now all that will remain now is managing those money, manage them well and save them, and if I can invest them so that they can continue to make, or they start to make money for me as well. Yeah, so those are some of the things. But the road into getting to where I am is not easy. I tell you, it's very, very trying times. There was no water, the road was bad. Even today, our road is still bad. We are fortunate we have water today. So the water is at least okay now. But the road is still bad. So when it rains very heavily, the creek, Dogra Creek floods and we cannot cross. So sometimes I have to stay until the water subsides, the creek subsides, and then I can cross and go to work. I was fortunate to have an employer that is understandable. Otherwise, I would have been sacked already a long time ago. That's that one, and then the road too. If it rains, the road is very, very muddy and slippery. So the only people who can come and stay at this side of the place is people who have four-wheel drives. You can have any other small vehicles. They are only good for when the weather is okay. Then it can take you in and out. But when it's wet season, it's very, very hard. And the place is muddy, so you have to walk in the mud, to go down. And when the creeks floods, you have to swim across, and even the vehicle too, swim across with the vehicle too. I've done that, so many times. I have to cross the creek, even when the water is high. So I risk my vehicle, but I've already grown experience to that, and my experience I got not just from here, but in my life when I was in the field, as a monitoring officer in the bushes, in the logging projects, where I crossed muddy roads, rough roads, and swampy roads, and creeks, and all those ones. So it gave me that experience. So when I came here, it helped me a lot. Yeah, but otherwise you need to have basic things to come here, and one of them is vehicle. I see many people walking to and from workplace and home here, and as well as school. I feel sorry for people. The public transport is now very, very challenging. You have to really fight for space. There are so many people. The public transport is not enough, and so there are so many people now, and to find a space in any buses in the morning to get in time to work or school is really, really hard and difficult. But otherwise, so that's those are some of the things that I learned, picked up. Somehow I got the courage to move and to come. Now, even some of the things, the problem that we face is we are still facing it. Even we don't have power, but all our lighting we get from solar panels, and I'm not an electrician too. Even I'm not plumber, I'm not carpenter, but I build this house as a carpenter, as a plumber as well, and as an electrician. So some of those videos that I've captured doing some of those tasks, I'm going to now show you as well. So you will see and learn also. I think when I'm doing the power one, I think I did some warning that you don't do this unless you are so certain that you are doing the right thing. But I did my own wiring. So now we have. So I have this. If I can turn the cameras, you can see that's a fan. That's a fan. It's powered by solar, and I did the wiring. See all those wires there. I just pull them in the meantime because we are still working. It's 11 years now, and we are still working on this block. We haven't completed many things yet. The block construction is not up to that level where, to me, I'm satisfied that it's all complete. Still many things for us to do. So I think it's going to take another 2-3 years, depending on the money as well. But yes, so I did my own wiring, electrical wiring, solar. Even I did the wiring for the generator as well. Yeah, it's risky, but those are some of the things that I learned to do. I had to find how to do it. Otherwise, if I get somebody to do it, okay, it's okay, but then it's going to be a cost. And I think some of those things are things that I must learn myself, because they are things that will stay wherever I go and establish. I will still, those things are still required. They must be done, and the better way for them to be done is to be done by me. So I have to learn. If not me, then I have to get my kids or my boys. I teach them or put them to school somewhere. They learn the basics and then come and move on it. But otherwise, yeah, so that's that, and then, so, I don't know, but maybe in the nights I can take a video and show you the lights coming on. I have security lights. So now with this house that I am in now, with this third extension that I've done, which I'm staying in, the first one that we did and the first extension, the second extension are all we created rooms, and so we're now renting those rooms out to friends and one-talks, and so that's what we did. Yeah, so we did the wiring also with the fan and the lights, and even from the solar power, we also have this. We convert through the inverter to convert the solar power to AC. AC, that's the main big power that you can now power the appliances, and that's where I'm now powering my computer. So yeah, so my computer there. So the power is now coming from the solar. Through the inverter and the battery. All right, so basically that's that, and I hope you have enjoyed watching my initial construction of my block, and I've just gone through with you on my journey to constructing this block, the houses and all the extensions that I've done, and I have shown you all the slides. If there is anything that you've seen that you're interested in, and if I didn't explain how I did it, I can comment, put a comment and ask a question, and so that I can explain. I will also show you. So this is the original construction, and then I will now show you the next video would be probably about the first extension and the second extension,
Don't do that.
and maybe the third extension all put together. If I don't have many videos to show, then I can put them all together. Plus all the works that I'm doing on other room construction, the well that I dug because the water was in essence of importance to me in order to run my septic toilet. At that time I didn't have water, proper formal continuous water supply, so I had to dig a well, and we dug the well. That's another story to it. That's another video. And then my work on the solar lighting, solar wiring, and solar panel installation, the batteries installation and wirings, and the inverter installation and wiring, all those, I will show all those as well. And now I'm also doing poultry, chicken and duck, and as well as wildfowl. I'm trying to now breed that wildfowl and raise wildfowl so that I can get these big wildfowl eggs for my own consumption, not for sales, just for me. All right, so there's a lot of things that I'm doing, and I hope you enjoyed this. Sorry, there's no video. There has been no video for this first original construction, but only slides, still pictures. So I now show you all these slides. But thank you very much, and please, if you have not subscribed, please do so. Subscribe and hit the bell, that bell sign, so that you can notification bell, and as well as give it a thumbs up, so that any videos that I upload next, you can be able to have access to that. All right. With that, thank you very much, and hope you enjoy your time with me.